Okay, good evening. I want to do a couple of things with this video. It's Wednesday night over here, and Wednesday is typically my busiest working day of the week. I think this week will have been no exception to that by week's end, although sometimes things do come up on Thursday and or Friday. So anyway, with that said, I want to do, I'm going to call this a quarterly report, I think, an update on my Mike Owens Quick Play Pro Hockey project with what I am calling the Redemption League. And basically, it's yeah, quarterly because it's at about the quarter mark of the regular season. I decided what I would do is a 192 game schedule, meaning that each of the 12 teams gets in the league gets 32 games to play. So as you hopefully are able to see there, each team has played about 7, 8, 9 games so far, so about 25% of their season, their regular season. For some, that will have been the entire season. I'm going to do a quarterfinals, semifinals, and final for the playoffs. So 8 teams will qualify. The 4 division winners plus 4 wild cards, and the wild cards can come from any division. It will just be the top 4 that are not division winners. I have a similar format on a smaller scale with my League of Champions and Presidents with Shootout Hockey. But again, Wednesday night being again, it's a pretty hard long day for me over here. So one of many great things about the game Mike Owens Quick Play Pro Hockey is that it's just a very good chill kind of game, I would say. Um, it's one of those kick back and relax a little bit and roll out a little hockey kind of games. And I haven't played it in about a week and a half. Something about a 72 Summit series with shootout hockey getting in the way and some other things. And to be honest, that had nothing at all to do with this game. Normally with a project, no matter what game it is with, I usually like say the 25, 50, 75% of the way through the regular season kind of mark. When I arrive at a milestone like that, I might pull back and take about a week off just so that I don't risk burning out on any project. So I have taken a little time away from this one, and I'm quite eager to get back to it here. And that doesn't mean I'm not kicking the Summit Series, too far ahead or anything like that. As I think I mentioned in my Blue Zone hockey video, probably I would estimate by this weekend. At this weekend, at some point, I'll get back into playing out the Soviet half of that. But anyway, this is Mike Owens Quick Play Pro Hockey again. This is my Redemption League. I think also, in my opinion at least, a very intriguing and interesting project it was. When I announced it, I have tens, probably a few dozen videos up on the channel now to do with this, and I intend on making some more, including this one. So anyway, a quarterly report for this one. You see here with the Mikita Conference, named obviously for Stan Mikita. The Buffalo Sabres from 1975, they are in first place in the Henri Division, which is named for Henri Richard. And even though Vancouver has a game in hand, they can't actually catch the Buffalo Sabres. The Washington Capitals from 1986. Having a lot of trouble with this one, although again, with 24 games to go of 32, I mean, that is still more than enough time theoretically to turn it around. But yeah, so far Buffalo, especially in games featured on this channel, they've been good. They've been dominant. They have their losses in there. They have played more on the road, though, than at home, which is, I guess, encouraging if you're a fan of the 75 Sabres. And their goals for 36 goals against 23, so a good goal differential there for the Sabres. 36 might actually be the most of any team in the league, or the Redemption League. I almost said something else. Then you have the Howie Division, named for Howie Meeker. Winnipeg is in first place overall right now, the 85 Winnipeg Jets. I know there were some people who announced ahead of this project, that they were going for the Winnipeg Jets. There you have it. They are first overall right now in the Howie Division. Week on the road, but luckily for them, at least so far, they've played 5 of their 8 games at home. Bit of a negative goal differential there, but again, first overall in the division. One could argue maybe by default in that they have played one more game than the 1972 New York Rangers, who somewhat surprisingly are only 500 after 7 games. I know. I guess if I was to recommend any one game from this project so far of the games that I have put on this channel, probably the game between the New York Rangers and the Hartford Whalers. I thought that game, that's kind of my kind of hockey game, had a good ebb and flow to it. And honestly, this division's really tight, as you can hopefully see there, reasonably well enough. The St. Louis Blues of 1981 as well. They've just played 8 games. Again, weak on the road so far. Not a favorable record on the road, for lack of a better way of putting it. But with the slightly positive there goal differential, we come down to the Hawerchuk Conference, named for Dale Hawerchuk, and you have the Colby Division, named for Colby Cave, in which the Hartford Whalers, they have played 9 games, but still they have they're really kind of running away with first place early in this division, somewhat surprisingly and somewhat impressively. Although once again, and it's really weird too because it feels like when I'm playing games, maybe it's just on the channel and also when I'm doing updates, it seems like it's funny, like the perception and the reality, because the perception is that the teams are winning on the road more often than not. But then I look at some of these road records and, well, then I guess I look at LA's road record, though, compared to their home record. They've yet to get a win at the Great Western Forum so far, have the 75 Kings. But back to the Whalers, somewhat surprisingly and impressive. And I know that they have some fan support as well here in in Delphi. I hear, go Whalers type comments and things like that. So there you have it. They are 4-0-1, actually. They've yet to lose on home ice at the what we will call the Al Red Sox fan mall there in Hartford, Connecticut, and at 30-23, so a decent for to goals against differential for the Whalers. The 83 Bruins just under 500. And again, the 75 Kings just kind of struggling out of the gate. You have the 1970 Montreal Canadiens, and to be honest, even as a Habs fan, I am somewhat surprised with this, that they are 6-1-1 after 8 games. They took their final loss there to, I believe it was, the 95 Quebec Nordiques, who finally played to form in a game. The Nordiques that sit at 2-6 right now. That was, and again, they're equally bad both on the road and at home. That was somewhat of a surprisingly disappointing start for them. I sort of pegged them actually to be one of the favorites going into this. But I will say this for Montreal 1970. I think so far, and maybe I'll get the cards actually to sort of aid the explanation of this. One theory that I have, because I'm a Habs fan, but I have to be objective, is this is normalization coming through. And so basically what that means is that in some games where some of the teams might be, I don't know, a certain percentage or a few points superior to Montreal, because they have the higher normalization rating, meaning that era adjusted, or however Michael Owens does it, they played in a tougher era. He explains right in the rules that, he favors original 6 teams and eras with fewer teams when the competition was tighter. I shouldn't say he favors, his game formulas, for that matter, favor that. And so you have the Montreal Canadiens of 1969 and 70 with that normalization of 19. I'm quite sure that is the highest normalization of any of these cards there. The Bruins and the Blackhawks played in the same season with 16 apiece. So, and I might actually set these aside because I'm looking for a simple, accessible matchup that I can play on this channel. In this video, maybe having teams with the same normalization will. And there you can see the Jets with 16, Caps with 16. A lot of teams are about 16 or 17, so it's only a few points difference. But I think the evidence kind of speaks for itself, where their normalization is 19, and then if you look at the Quebec Nordiques, it's 15 in that season. That shortened 48-game season, 94-95, the Nordiques' final regular season. And so there you go, 4 points normalization could be making. I don't think it's solely that's making the difference, but I do think that that might be having a little more of an impact than I would have guessed prior to playing, through what I've played of this project so far. I did not anticipate the Montreal Canadiens, and maybe they'll fall off after this now. They are actually, I think, winless in their last 2. The tie and the loss, I'm pretty sure, we're in back-to-back games. Again, it's been about a week and a half since I've touched this, but I'm pretty sure that, again, they are winless in their last couple. And Chicago, there you see right in the middle, pretty solid so far. A little better on the road than at home, actually. Decent goals, 4 goals against differential. Montreal's being pretty good also, so I guess I was correct about Buffalo. And I guess one other thing that I will show here before I get into a game is, and yes, I'm also Hockey Unreal over at Delphi, formerly Puck Drop, because it's my favorite moment of a hockey game, that opening puck drop. And so I just like that moment where, there's a big game that's about to commence and you see the ref drop the puck and you know that there's no going back, except in the modern era where sometimes face-offs are, draws are blown down immediately. But anyway, so this is the scoring race. So I guess February 21st, the last time that I've played or updated this. You have Al Secord there of Chicago in first place. He wouldn't have come close to a scoring title in that year, 1983, but he did have a 50-goal season, quite prolific offensively. Don Luce from Buffalo has been a bit of an anomaly, and I should explain that with that, he had, I think, 4 goals and an assist, so he had like a 5-point night in game 1. So since then, he's kind of leveled off. He's been about a point per game guy. It's just taken some time for other players to catch up to him. And Don Luce historically was about a point per game player in that season. He had like 76 points in that year in 1975 in 80 or maybe slightly fewer games. Bobby Rousseau from Montreal, definitely a big surprise. The veteran, pretty good scorer for the Habs in the 1960s. I would argue historically, given all the Habs, those great Hall of Fame names, a really good player actually in his time that gets kind of overlooked is Bobby Rousseau. So he has the chance to stand out here on this channel. Jean Beliveau as well. Little surprise there actually, the Beliveau. Although again, this is a 38-year-old Jean Beliveau. Not really a threat to win the scoring title, though maybe in the historic seasons none of these guys were. Again, this is a league of very good. I thought I'd take a bunch of very good, not quite great teams over a 25-year span, and you have some very good, though maybe in this particular season not quite great players. I look at a name like Ron Francis, and I hesitate to call him anything less than great. Actually, someone like Francis specifically. And I know my father, who's quite the hockey fan and historian, speaks quite highly of a name like Bernie Federko. But Federko, of course, would have played through Gretzky's prime and so on. So Jean Rattel as well, he's there in the top 10 in scoring. And as you see, it's pretty tight as well. I'm sure I've said this before. If I've said it once, I've said it a dozen times. But a tight standings and a tight scoring race, I think it makes any project just really worthwhile and fun to play through. So you have like 3 guys with a dozen points, and then 4 there with 11, and then a few with 10 points each. Perreault doesn't have a goal in 9 games so far. I'm sure that the goals will come for him. Cliff Ronning may be a bit of a surprise with 10 points in 8 games, but again, Cliff Ronning was about a point per game player in the early 90s, and that is the Vancouver Canucks of 1992. So with that said, I don't know if I want to pause or do this on the fly. I'm going to do this on the fly. So let's say I want to set up and play a game of Mike Owens Quick Play Pro Hockey, and I should actually have the schedule up, but I don't. That's okay though. I'm pretty sure Boston and Chicago each have one more home and away game against one another. So actually, I am going to, on second or third thought here, I will pause and just check that out. Okay, and also here I have every scorer for every team. This is the full. I'm not sure if I'm able to zoom in on that or not. Maybe not. So you can't really see that too well. Sorry about that. But this is how I keep track of all of the player stats individually. I'm somewhat surprised that I'm not able to zoom in on that, but there you go. You learn something new every day, or I try to. So this is the schedule. I've been playing through it somewhat haphazardly, jumping back and forth here. You see some days where I game days where I will play a game individually and then not play out the other games in that day. So I'm going to save this for like an Al Red Sox fan special. I think Boston up against Hartford there. Chicago and Quebec. I mean, I guess I could play. You know what? Maybe that's what I should do then. Chicago and Quebec, they are in the same. Although that's what I wanted to do actually for this example is play 2 teams with the same normalization. So sorry, I apologize. I'm going to renege on that. And let's go with, let's say, this Hartford twice on one day. So again, there are little bugs in the schedule, but it'll work out by season's end. I know it will. It is fixed. I consider it fixed. Quebec and Montreal do have one more game against one another. But again, what I'm looking for here are 2 teams with identical normalization. So that eliminates Montreal. But I'm pretty sure here Hartford and Chicago. Let me just double check. Hartford and Chicago. This will be a bit of a longer video. If you do want to see this game, like just see the result of it, I encourage you fast forwarding, flipping ahead. But what I want to do here is play this game as if I'm explaining it to someone who has not played this game before. I have I think at least one other Mike Owens Quick Play Pro Hockey video where I at least attempt to do that, but it might be a little less organized than this one. Hopefully this one won't be as disorganized, but so let's say I'm setting up to do this live. Let's get the keyboard out of the way actually to allow for a little more space. We're going to do a little setup on the fly. Tell you what, we'll even throw the dice tower there in the middle. So you have Hartford up against Chicago. Now, again, the normalization with these teams is 16. Wait a minute. Was Hartford at home or on the road in that one that I'm about to play out? Hartford is on the road. That's okay. So that's correct. So what I'm doing, and again, you might not be able to see this too well, so I'll try to hold cards up to the camera there. So let's say... and sorry, this will come out a little sloppy. We'll go HFD for Hartford. And so I'm looking at Hartford because they're on the road. I'm looking at their visitor offense, and it's 17. And I'm looking at then Chicago's home defense, which is 14. 17 and 14 being 31. Let's put down 31 for Hartford. And then I do the same thing with Chicago. I look at Chicago's visitor offense of 20, and whoops, Chicago is at home. I look at Chicago's home offense of 25. Again, it's been a long day here. I'm doing my best. And Hartford's visitor defense of 20. So 25 and 20, 45. I would say in that case something to the effect of pregame determinations or pregame math, whatever you want to say. Pregame numeric comparisons or number comparisons favoring Chicago. 45 and 31 add up to 76. And so I'll do this one a little differently. So what you do with that 76 is you're going to come over to these charts, which are all available and free to download, and you can request them from me as well, and I can provide these to you also. But 76, I'm looking at 11 to 35 for the scoring chance for this game. I don't know why that's not a little clearer there. So 76, again, that's going to fall in the range of 11 to 35, meaning we could have a reasonably high scoring game here. So let's make a note of that, actually. Let's say 11 to 35. Again, this will be a little sloppier than normal, where I do take time to set up and try to print everything nice and neat. I guess you can't really see Hartford there. Again, you can't always see what I see, and sometimes I have to keep that in mind. You can't always see everything that I see. So with the 11 to 35, what I'm going to do, and this one actually, I think I'll have this one a little off camera. I don't want to be shifting too many things around too often. This is already almost 17 minutes long, so I will have to roll through quickly. Let's hope for a bit of a quick one here with the game itself. What I'm going to do is I just Google it, 45 divided by 76, and it works out to 0.592. And so I take that 0.592, and so again, actually, I'll even note that here. So the 45, I don't know quite how I'm going to do that, but divided by 76, and again, it's 0.592. I look where 0.592 falls on this, in between 0.584 and 0.611. So I'm looking at 24 to 61 being Chicago's range should the initial roll come up 35 or below. 24 to 61 would be Chicago's range to have a chance to score, and then Hartford would take the remaining numbers. So I'm looking at 11 to 23 and 62 to 66 for the Whalers. So advantage Blackhawks going into this one. And I thought I had the Uno cards close by for this. Usually have them on standby. I'm just going to do blue corner, red corner. I'm not going to take the time actually to get the green for the Whale. Sorry. Again, just doing everything here. I even spontaneously came up with the matchup. So let's say we're 0-0, and we'll turn that off. So there's no light interference there. And we'll do like this. Again, this is a spontaneous setup. Hopefully everything is visible enough. We'll throw this up by Hartford and this one up by Chicago. And again, hopefully I want to take the time to explain it to someone if in case anyone who's not played it before could benefit from this. Sorry if you can't see everyone getting the goals and the assists, but let me try to slide that back a little further. Actually, I might even just take this away entirely. I don't need it. And again, you don't really need, there's that chart there that I use to get everything done pregame. After that, really, there's just one other page that I would need to refer to 90 to 99.9% of the time, but I will pull out Peter Miller's quick reference page as well. But that being this page right here for goals, close game factor, and so on. So anyway, and of course the clock. I had that funny feeling I was forgetting something. This clock, which makes an appearance for all kinds of different games in this channel. Let's get the clock and let's make sure that all the numbers are visible enough. So there you go, a complete spontaneous makeshift setup. I guess I'll call the time. You can't really see all of it, but I don't know. Let's try here. Become a bit of a perfectionist. We'll try that and slide that up. And if that doesn't work, if that's a little less than perfect, then sorry. I'm showing as much as I can here on camera. Let's try to give that a little added zoom. So how this works, my first roll, I've got a few dice here that I don't need actually. I'm just going to take this red, and I've decided to use this D6 that's a little bigger, one that I obtained in Taiwan, and just finally opened up the other day. It was in Taiwan just over a year ago. And so to kick things off here with the 1 and the 4, you're looking at advancing the clock 2 minutes. And because 14 is below 35, which you can no longer see there, hopefully you can now, that means that there will be a scoring chance. And so I'm going to do a second roll here to see who gets that scoring chance here in the first period still. 44 is right in Chicago's range, and so I'm going to do one additional roll. The additional roll there comes up 2, and so I look here and it's save with an asterisk, which that won't factor in until period 3, if at all, anyway. But that is the save for the Whalers, so we roll on. 87 Whalers coming up with the save. And I think it was Sidorkiewicz in goal that year, I think. Anyway, I could be wrong about that season. 61, so actually because this is a 1, I don't advance time. So that is another thing, I guess, that I could show is that, let's say that white die right there, if it's a 1, you elapse 0 minutes. If it's 2, or if it's 2, 1 minute. 3 or 4 is 2 minutes, and 5 or 6 is 3 minutes. So again, that's just a 1, and so I'm going to roll once. And of course, 61 is not in the range, but actually with 21, we are going to get a scoring chance back the other way in the second minute. This has been a bit of an aberration thus far. Usually things will advance along a little more quickly than this, and I don't think this is just because of my gabbing, but 55, that's once again in Chicago's range, though just barely, so they get another chance here in the second minute of the hockey game. And with a 6 and a 1, once again, that is not going to be a goal. So we roll forward again for time. Let's see what we get this time. With a 1 and a 6, we're now up to minute 5, and again, 16 being below 35, just like how 21 was below 35, we had to have a scoring chance. We roll for a scoring chance. 61 was not below 35, so I did not roll for a scoring chance. And with the 41 in that roll, that's going to be Chicago with the scoring chance. And with a 5 and a 1, once again, Chicago does not score, so the Hartford goaltending and defense, they are weathering the storm early here, but the Blackhawks have been pretty dominant, I would say. They're applying the pressure. Again, it's a simple game, but it does paint the picture of certain things. Another 16, so I come up to minute 8 here now. There will be another chance in minute 8. With the 6 and the 6, the Whale is finally going to get their first chance of the contest, and that's a leaner. I saw a video on Dice Etiquette last night that if it's something like this, it's if it leaves the tray. I should roll it again. That to me, let's see here. Yeah, that looked to be a 5 and a 4. Close enough anyway. You all saw that. So again, there is no goal there. So several chances early without a goal score. We're 8 minutes into the first period, and we roll on. We have a 6 and a 2, so I advance 1 more minute. And again, this is where I'm getting that. So the 9th minute. It's also... it explains it right there as well. So 1 is 0 minutes, 2, 1 minute, 3 and 4, 2 minutes, and 5 and 6, 3 minutes. And that's the white die that I'm looking at for that. So 1 more minute advance, and because 62 is higher than 35, no chance for either team. So another one there, 24, I'm up to minute 11. And in minute 11, because 24 is below 35, there will be a chance. That chance at 53 is going to go to the Chicago Blackhawks once more. And this time with a 6 and a 5, it's going to be the Blackhawks actually scoring, going up by the first goal of the game. So I was going to say going up by a goal, but I think that's pretty obvious. Too obvious, perhaps. Now, for rolling for exact time, I take these 2 blues. This is how I do it. I go D6 minus 1, and then I have the D10 fill in the seconds. So let's see here. That's a 3 and a 4. I'm going to stay at 24. So specifically here at 11:24, this is actually what messed me up for shootout, because I do it differently for shootout. I get a great comment about that, actually, about how I was keeping time for shootout. So anyway, 11:24, and it's going to be, it's 1-0 Chicago. So what I do now actually is I roll for the goal scorer. So that's a 1-1-4. That's going to be Denny Savard putting Chicago up 1-0 here, and I'll play this back so I get the exact. And then I roll 2 dice for the number of assists. So this one here, if it's, and it shows you right here, 2 to 8, it's 2 assists. 9 to 10, or 9 or 10, 1 assist, and then 11 or 12, it's an unassisted goal. So there, because it's 3, it means there will be a pair of assists on Denny Savard's goal. So I roll again, and of course I'm finding all of that information over here. So Savard can't assist on his own goal. I have to roll again. And this time I get a 525. 525 is Kurt Fraser. So it's going to be Denny Savard from Kurt Fraser, and there were 2 assists on the goal. So it's first time that got stuck. 135 once again is Savard. He does have a pretty big assist range. 446 with that one is Daryl Sutter. So it's going to be Savard from Kurt Fraser and Captain Daryl Sutter here at 11:24. I'm going to take these Blues and put them aside, put them in behind, and we roll on. So with a 2 and a 1, actually, there's going to be another chance that same minute. And 4 and a 5, Chicago looking actually to score 2 goals within a minute. With a 5 and a 5, they do. So now actually what I will do is probably just roll not for how many seconds past the minute, but I have a few different ways of working this out. Let's roll and I'll explain. So 44, I'm actually going to say, 11:24, 11:44, sure. So 2 goals, 20 seconds apart. That seems fine to me. And Chicago, they're up 2-0. Let me change the score before I forget to. I am prone to doing that sometimes. I might actually just play a period of this one because it's getting to be a bit long. Let's see here. I'm going to roll for the goal scorer for the Hawks. 5-5-5 once again there. I dropped that through a little quickly. We'll give Tim Higgins the goal there for the Blackhawks. So Higgins, again, next I'm rolling for number of assists. 5 and a 6, that's actually an unassisted goal. Nice and simple for the time being. It's Tim Higgins unassisted 20 seconds after Denny Savard's goal. And we roll forward with a 5 and a 1. Actually, we don't. We stay in the same minute. This time with a 3 and a 4, we advance 2 more minutes, 34 being just under 35. A lot of chances here early in this game. Very chance-heavy game, this one. And 1 and a 6, that chance is actually going to go to Hartford here. A chance to get on the board for the Whalers. And with a 2 and a 3, they actually do because of 5. 10 was a goal there, so Chicago scored that second goal. And with the 5, Hartford's going to score a goal here too. So it's 2-1 Chicago. A lot of goals scored here midway through the first period after a lot of failed chances there near the start. And let's see who actually got Hartford's goal. Hartford's goal with the 3-1-1 was scored by Dave Babbage, actually. So Dave Babbage there with the goal for the Whalers. Let's see the number of assists. 2 and a 5, that comes out to 7. And again, 8 or below is going to mean 2 assists. So sorry if it seems like I'm going a little fast. I'm trying to fit everything in here. So 2 assists. The first one, 155. That's Ron Francis. Babbage from Ron. So Francis back to the point, and Babbage blasted it home. 163 is Kevin Dineen. So Babbage from was Dineen over to Francis, back to Babbage for the goal. Hartford's on the board here, cutting Chicago's lead in half. We roll forward with a 1 and a 2. We're going to have another opportunity here in the 14th minute. And with a 4 and a 2, it's going to go to the Chicago Blackhawks. Whoops, I didn't have to roll all 3, sorry. 6 and a 1, Chicago didn't score anyway. Sorry, that was a little messy. Another 6 and a 1, we stay in the 14th minute. 4 and a 2, we advance to the 15. 42 is higher than 35, so no chance for either team. 6 and a 5, we go up to minute 18 now. Again, 65, way higher than 35. No chance for either team. With a 1 and a 1, though, actually, we will still have a chance here in the 18th minute. And with a 2 and a 4, 2 and a 4 just in Chicago's range, actually. The bottom of it. So the very bottom of it. With a 2 and a 3, the Blackhawks are going to go up 3-1 here in period 1. So it's 3-1 Chicago, and we'll roll once again. I take these 2 Blues. You might have a different way of doing it. There are a lot of different ways you can do it. There's no, like Dave and Ron say this all the time with their games and digital to dice. There's no wrong way to do it. You know, it's your game. This is a solo play. You're playing to find out. And so 1844. Jason's been talking about that really well lately, a lot in his channel over on Flash Games there, and about playing to find out and his passion for that. So at 1844, we get another goal at the 44-second mark here. It's I think they've all ended in 4, actually. What's up with this? Well, I have to roll, actually, to see who it is. That's right. See, I'm teaching myself. I'm reminding myself as I'm trying to teach anyone else who might be interested here. So Daryl Sutter there at 461. That's... And with a 4 and a 3, that's going to be 2 assists on Sutter's goal here at 1844. 245, that is Steve Larmer. Sutter from Larmer, and Sutter from Larmer in 523 is either Keith Brown or Kurt Fraser. What I do there, if this is even, it's Keith Brown, but it's odd. So Kurt Fraser picking up his second assist of the contest. Let's try to roll through to the end of this period at least. Whoops, I didn't have to drop all 3. With a 1 and a 6. So I like this. So this is at 18. 3, you can't really see that there, sorry. But I'm now at 18 minutes. Let's slide that back. So 3 have elapsed. And we're going into minute 20. Basically, I'm now 1 minute into the second period. That's at least how I played, and I'm pretty sure that's how it is meant to be played. So anyway, hopefully anyone watching this got something out of it, whether it was in the beginning, the middle, the end, something there, and something in between. That is always what I strive for. But in particular, Joseph, Joe, this is a shout out to you. She said that you wouldn't mind, so I thought I at least include that at the end. And yeah, I think if I mean I also wanted to say on top of that, just to anyone that's giving this any time or any consideration, as I like to say, it's all greatly appreciated. It has been noticed recently, that it's there, and so I appreciate everyone's support, whether that comes in the form of comments or likes or anything like that on the channel. I do notice the subscriptions. And then also to people who reach out privately, who email me. My email is just hockeyunreal@gmail.com for this channel, for this account. I'm also Hockey Unreal over on Delphi. I get public and private messages both over there, like public forum messages and private ones as well. And it's great. All of the support in all forms. I mean, it's just really, really all fantastic and awesome. And so I wanted to do this quarterly report update, and then I guess also what turned into hopefully an instructive period here of Mike Owens Quick Play Pro Hockey. Opinions are like belly buttons, everyone has one, but I consider this to be an absolutely fantastic game, a very chill, tremendous, simple play game with masterful abstraction. So there you have it. That's definitely more than enough out of me for now, so bye for now.